My name is Caden.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahoo Torah YouTube channel, and this is Youth for Yah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for all you've done that has supported us. Thank you guys for coming in and studying with us. We really appreciate you guys coming in and just learning what is important. The most important thing in all of your lives, the most important thing in all of everyone's lives is the Torah, and it is the salvation of Yahushua HaMashiach. And we really need to get to the bottom of it and find out what it is, and that's what it means to study the Torah, to write it upon our heart, is to really immerse ourselves in it, really dive deep into what everything means and go through all the translation, all the different things. So we are going to be going through Proverbs. We are in Proverbs 23 now, and that's crazy to think that it's almost over, that we've been in this for almost half a year now, I think, or close to that, maybe a little over that. But yeah, it's great to have you guys along this journey of Proverbs. And if you're starting new, this is the first time you've ever heard this, the first time you ever caught us live, welcome. We are going to be using words as the Hebrew words of some things, like the word Torah, which is the laws, the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Or Yahuwah, which is the name of Yah, Yod-He-Vod-He, when he told Moses, I am that I am. Was translated to Yod-He-Vod-He, and that is Yahuwah, and that is what we call him, Yahuwah Elohim, and Elohim is just another title for him. It's like the Lord God, Yahuwah Elohim, just like that. And so I think that's the only things. Maybe Yahushua, maybe Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, as many know him. But we've been over this a lot of times. If you go through all our radios, we talk about how there was no J's in the original Hebrew, so it's like a closer to Yahshua, Yahusha, and that's where we begin. So Eli, take us away to Proverbs 23.
Hey, the Grand Emissary of Elohim, thanks for joining us again, guys.
All right. So for those that don't know, we are reading out of several different Bibles. As you can see here on the screen, you have the KJV on the left, the
KJV on the right.
Oh, KJV on the right, you swapped it up. The NIV on the left, the KJV on the right, and then we have Proverbs 23 in the Sefer, which is a book you can download, but there's a lot of translation errors, and we are going through finding the errors and showing you guys the errors on these things. That is a whole other series. And then I myself am reading out of the Yahoo Scriptures.
All
right. Proverbs 23, verse 1. When you sit to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before you, and put a knife to your throat, if you be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat.
So it says, if you are going to sit with a ruler, you really need to look before. You need to look at the hidden meanings of things. He's saying be smart here. Don't desire what he has. Don't desire his food. He said it's not good. He said put a knife to your throat. Putting a knife to your throat would be basically
stop yourself from eating it.
Yeah, basically it's a way of stopping yourself from eating it. It would be a way to end yourself through that, because he says it's better to end yourself than to eat this meat, to be deceived, because this meat could be from something else. It could be for another reason. It could be to bribe you, and you really have to look forward, look past what it is said. What are the words that are there?
Verse 4. Labor not to be rich. Cease from your own wisdom. Will you set your eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle towards heaven.
You know, that's something we see a lot in today's society is, I got to make it big, I got to get rich, I got to make all this money, I got to do this so I can be famous. And that is what Solomon is going against here. He says, don't strive for this. Don't labor to be rich. We know money is the root of all evil. We know that nothing good comes from money. We know that wickedness, anger, greed, lust, evil desires come from money. We know all of this. And he says it'll fly, because you can't take it with you. You can't take it. It's not going to save your soul. When you die, your money doesn't go with you. You return by yourself. From the dust you came, the dust you go. And money is not part of that dust.
Right? You cannot have this money, right? He's saying don't lust for things you don't have. Don't lust for that money. We're not supposed to be working for money. We're supposed to be working to feed ourselves. We're supposed to work to provide for our family. We're not supposed to be rich people. We're supposed to be humble people before Yahuwah. And if we're just striving to be rich, then we are not putting Yahuwah first.
Verse 6. And eat not the bread of him that has an evil eye, neither desire his dainty meals. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. The morsel which you have eaten shall vomit up, and lose your sweet words. The NIV says, do not eat the food of a begrudging host. Do not crave his delicacies. For he is the kind of person who is always thinking about the cost. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the little you have eaten, and will have wasted your compliments.
So again, it talks about where you don't eat the food of someone that has brought you. It says don't eat the food of an evil-eyed person. He says his heart is not with you. And he's really saying you have to watch out. You need to look behind the meanings. Don't take bribes. And that's why we're warned in the Torah. Don't take bribes. Don't turn aside judgment. Don't turn aside right ruling. Because if someone says, eat, look at this food, or they bribe you and try and get you things, this is where you have to be solid in the Torah. This is where you have to absolutely know the Torah and everything that is spoken in the Torah. That is, don't take bribes, don't turn away judgment, rightly rule the poor. Just because someone gives you something does not mean you are supposed to judge differently than you would if you weren't given something. You are supposed to judge righteously, and that is your job. Our job is to rightly rule something, whether it's a simple matter or a huge matter. We are supposed to deal with it accordingly and according as a righteous person would, which would be according to the Torah.
Right, a lot of people will try to get you to good meals, come be part of the family, give you money, try to get you to do something to feel like you're welcome, just so they can get you to do something that you shouldn't do, that you know is wrong, but they'll try to bribe you, and that's why we shouldn't take bribes, because bribes do pervert the eyes. When you feel like you need this and you owe this to them because they gave you this money, then you will do that certain things. That's why you don't take bribes.
Verse 9. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words.
So how do we define a fool? What is the definition of a fool?
I would say someone who is unteachable, someone who will not learn, someone that keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again.
So let's say we have a Christian, a average Christian. He said the laws on the cross. He's argued with you a few times. Is that a fool?
But I would say in some way, yes. I mean, they will not they will not listen to right. They will not listen to what you have to say, and they are set in their ways without even doing their own research. So I just have to say, yes, they are partly fools.
So the best thing you can do here, because Solomon is saying to basically leave this person alone, shake your foot off and walk away if this person does not listen. What you can do is you can try and you can pray for a person if you're trying to convert someone, and I don't know if convert's the right word, but trying to change someone from their Christian ways, because Christianity is a pagan cult in itself. It is nothing holy. It is nothing righteous. It is not where our Creator dwells. Our Creator does not dwell in the church. Our Creator does not dwell on Sunday. Our Creator dwells with the people that keep His law, statutes, and commands and keep the faith of the Messiah. That's where He dwells with. That's the people He dwells with. And so what you can do is you can teach this person, you can have gentle conversations, and when you speak to someone, you have to speak to someone with love, with compassion. You have to show them through your words and through your actions how you speak to them. You can't come off aggressive saying you're going to hell because you're doing this. No one's going to listen to that instantly. If you tell someone they are a bad person immediately, they are going to turn you off immediately, and they are going to ignore everything you have to say, and they'll argue it till the day they die. And that is unfortunate that they do that, but you have to speak with a certain manner of love, with compassion, as Yahushua spoke. He did not just go up to people and say, you're dead. He spoke to people softly. He spoke to people openly. And that's what you have to do. You have to speak to people with a pure heart. You cannot go in there with contempt. You cannot go in there with, not contempt, but contemption against someone. You have to love them. You have to show love, and if that person does not listen, just pray for them. You have to pray for that person, that their soul will change, that Yahuwah will show them light, because Yahuwah listens to His children, and He listens to the prayers of those who keep His commands. He said that. He said He keeps their prayers.
Verse 10. Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless, for their Redeemer is mighty. He shall plead their cause with you.
Now Solomon here, he is quoting the Torah we learned the other day. That's one of the commands. It says, do not remove the landmark. And do not attack the father. Do not go to steal the father, right? If someone has a little field for themselves or a land, and they have no father, and you go in there and steal some of their food, and you're not the poor person that's supposed to be that field supposed to be for, and you take that food, then you are harming the fathers. You are harming them. You are taking something that you do not need from them, and they do not have a father. In the next verse it says, don't harm the widow, right? Don't harm the widow, the fatherless, those who are poor. Because Yahuwah will revenge, right? Yahuwah will do the same to you. He will make sure you get treated the same way you treat them. That's why He asks you to treat them right, because you get blessed before He blesses you back when you bless them. And if you are taking from them or hurting them, Yahuwah will judge you for that, and you will be judged. And it may not be on this earth or in this lifetime, but in the next lifetime when you are being judged, He will say, depart from me, you who attacked the widow, you who do not follow my Torah.
Verse 12. Apply your heart unto instruction, and your ears to the words of knowledge.
So he says, listen up. He says, bring your heart to discipline. Discipline your hearts. How will we discipline our hearts? By turning from our ways, by practicing the Torah, by doing the Torah, living the Torah, putting our bacon behind us and putting in the Torah, putting in the clean foods, stopping the sin. Because the biggest sin for most people, most Christians, is the bacon. They can't get over the bacon, and if you're in a life of sin, the best thing you can do is open that Bible and start doing what it says from the first page to the last pages. That's what the best thing you can do. That's how you can apply your heart to discipline.
Verse 13. Withhold not correction from the child, for if you beat him with the rod, he shall not die. You shall beat him with the rod, and shall deliver his soul from Sheol.
So we have a thing where it says discipline your children. You need to, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, a lot of people see that as abuse, but when it is actual discipline, when it needs to be set apart and it's in a righteous manner, when it is in a manner where this child needs to learn, this is going to destroy his life. This is going, if he keeps this up, if he continues on this path, he needs to learn. Yes, it says bring the rod, and we are all living examples that taking the rod across your back is not a bad thing. It makes you better. It won't kill you. It makes you learn, and there is a fine line between abuse and a actual discipline, a loving discipline, and that is something a lot of people will cross. And don't beat your children just to beat your children. You need to beat your children for an actual disciplining, not an actual just to beat them.
Right, you don't want to do it just because you want to beat them for no reason. You want to discipline them. They did something wrong, they broke Torah, they disobeyed you, they didn't do what they're supposed to do, then there is time for correction. But if they did nothing wrong and you just feel like hitting your child, then you need to get some help.
Verse 15, My son, if your heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my mind shall rejoice when your lips speak right things.
So a child that was brought up in the Torah, when you see someone that is brought up in the Torah, now if you've ever had someone that has come from the Torah, you talked about the Torah and they walked away and you didn't know what was going to become of it, and they come back later to you in the future and they say they've turned their life around, they've fallen in Torah, you have this feeling of happiness, you have this feeling of excitement that this person changed their life. And this is the same for a child. When you see a child, when you raise up a child in the Torah, you raise someone up and you see that they are speaking the Torah, that they're living the Torah, that they are living and breathing the Torah, you are happy. That's a happy thing. You know that their soul's on the right path. You know that they are walking the straight and narrow, and that they won't fall off of it because they were raised up great. And that's why it says, raise up a child that he should go, so he does not depart from it when he's old.
Verse 17, Let not your heart envy sinners, but be in the fear of Yahuwah all the day long. For surely there is an end, and your expectations shall not be cut off.
So it says, if you fear Yahuwah, you are blessed. If you do not, then you are cursed. You will die early, right? You will die a painful death, and it will not be a physical death, but a spiritual death. You will die and it will be painful. But if you follow Yahuwah and fear him and respect him and do as he says, then you will not be cut off, right? You're expecting Yahuwah will bless you, and he is there for his people that are truly his people.
And it says, don't envy sinners. Don't envy these people, because when you envy sinners, yeah, they may look cool, they may have fancy things, or whatever it is that you want to envy them for, or you want to be like them. It only leads to sin. It only leads to more wickedness, to more evil. You don't want to be of this person, because when you are living as a sinner, you're endangering your soul. When you sin against Yah, you are endangering your own life.
Verse 19, Hear, my son, and be wise. Guard your heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and dryness shall clothe a man with rags.
All right.
The NIV says, Listen, my son, and be wise, and set your heart on the right path. Do not join those who drink too much wine, or gorge themselves on meat. For drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags.
So it says, don't be as a drunkard, don't be as a glutton. It says you're going to end up poor, because when you are a drunkard, you're consistently taking alcohol or intaking it to live your life, to get a buzz or anything of that sort. And that's your continual life, is just drinking after drinking after drinking. It's going to end up terribly for you. And we're going to go down farther in these verses and find out why it's so terrible. But it says, don't be a drunkard. When you were a drunkard back in the day, they would take you outside the gates and they would stone you if you were an unchangeable drunk. That's what they would do back in the day. And now we can't do that nowadays, but that would probably still stand in the land. You're not supposed to be a drunkard. You're supposed to be a functioning human of Yah. And how are you supposed to show Yah and Yahusha's love if you are sitting there being a drunk, if you are a drunkard?
Verse 22, Hearken unto your father that begat you, and despise not your mother when she is old. Buy the truth, and sell it not, also wisdom, and instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begets a wise child shall have joy of him.
So it starts out with, listen to your father, and don't despise your mother when she is old. Don't despise them. They're the people that brought you up. A lot of
you should love them when they're old. They took care of you when you were young. Now it's your turn to take care of them when they're old. You need to help them when they're old. You need to exit out of life with pride and humility. You don't want them to be sad and alone. And sometimes people will take their parents and leave into a nursing home, and they will leave them all by themselves, and they get sad because their family isn't there anymore. So it's better to take care of your family. If you have the chance and ability to take care of your family when they are old, then that is the best thing you can do. But it is better to take care of your family than to leave them to some people who don't truly love them.
Verse 25. Your father and your mother shall be glad, and she that bore you shall rejoice.
So it says, and I'm going to go up a few verses because we just skipped some. It said, attain the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom and discipline and understanding. How do you attain the truth?
You read the Torah, you understand it, you learn it, you write it upon your hearts, and you will have the truth. You'll have the truth of the Bible. You'll understand that is a truth and not a lie.
And you do what the Torah says, right? You're going to go in there and you're going to read it every single day. You're going to read it as you raise up, as you go to bed. It's going to be on your mind. It's going to be on your heart, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to write it on the frontlets of your eyes. It's always going to be what's on the front of your eyes. It's what's going to guide you. It's what's going to keep you out of trouble, and it's what's going to keep your soul on the straight and narrow.
All right. Verse 26. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lies in wait as for a prey, and increases the transgressors among men.
So here we go. Here's a reason why to stay on the way. The Torah. Why to stay in the path of the Torah, and that is to stay away from the strange woman. And if you lose your soul to the strange woman, or it could be a man, but if you lose your soul to the strange woman, you are going to lose your soul. You don't come back the same. You break your relationship with Yah. You break your relationship with your spouse if you have one. And this is why you stay on the Torah, because you know when somebody puts you in a situation, when somebody puts you in something that you have to say yes or no to, and you know that it's evil, that the Torah, you'll be firm in the Torah, and you will say, no, I'm not going to do this. My life is not going to be destroyed because of this sin I commit. I am going to stay on the straight and narrow, and you can walk away. But if you're not firm in the Torah and you have nothing to stand on, you're just going to crumble, you're going to fall down, and you're going to fall to pure pressure.
Right, going back to where obtaining the truth, emissary Belahim said, begins with the fear of Yahuwah. Absolutely. If you don't fear Yahuwah, you won't understand, because you think his Torah is done away with, you don't fear him. See, when a child obeys his parents, right, he doesn't do it just because they're parents. He does it because he knows he'll be disciplined if he doesn't. And the same thing with us, we need to obey our parents, because if you don't, you will be disciplined, because there's obedience, and Yahuwah wants obedience, and you do not respect them. You are showing a disrespect when you do not do as they say, because they command you. They are your parents. You should listen to them because they have experience. They're teaching you. They're giving you your chores. They're teaching you responsibility. And when you don't listen to them, you disrespect them. When you disobey them, are you showing true love?
Verse 29. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has babbling? Who has wounds without cause? Who has redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not upon the wine when it is red, when it gives his color in the cup, when it moves itself aright. At the last it bites like a serpent, and stings like an adder. Your eyes shall behold strange women, and your heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, you shall be as he that lies down in the midst of the sea, or he that lies upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shall you say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt not. When shall I wake? I will seek it yet again.
All right, so that is a very crazy thing. We read it all together. We decided we were going to read that all as one thing, because it's a long story he wrote out here. But when you have woe and you have sorrow and you have complaints and your redness of eyes, it's because you're sitting there drinking, you're sitting there you're living your life by the bottle, as they say, and it's draining. It's a bad thing. There's a lot of people that will live their life just to get the next drink, and when you are alcoholic, when you are drunk, you don't think normal. You are not a normal human being. You're not a normal functioning human. You make huge decisions that you should not make. That's why I said you will fall in the hands of the strange woman. You will speak perversities, and that's why you should not be a drunk. This is maybe not a Torah command, but this is a absolutely great advice. Is how are you going to show the Yahuwah? How are you going to minister to the people when you're living your life like this? When you are living by the bottle, just looking for the next sip, as it says, looking to seek the next drink. How are you going to live for Yahuwah when you are living like this?
Absolutely, and you can't be like this kind of person that is a drunk. Because you remember there's a story talks about the person that is drunk. He can't be able to change, and the parents come out. But this is a grown man. They're like, our son is unchangeable. He keeps drinking and he's doing things. And what should we do? And they stone him because he was unchangeable. The parents have tried. And you don't want to be this person because being drinking leads to money loss, right? You keep going for the next drink, and you don't have that money more. And when you need to provide for your family, you don't have that money. And so you don't want to keep drinking. Yeah, a sip here, okay, a drink here is okay. It's not too bad. But if you are getting drunk constantly, day after day after day, then you are not doing right with your life. You need to focus on Yahuwah and become a sober-minded person. Become someone who understands the Torah and obeys and can take care of his family. Because when you are drinking, you will end up poor, like Solomon said. You will end up in rags. You will not be able to afford clothes. And you don't know what's going to happen to you, right? You get hit, you get attacked. You're too drunk to remember, and it's just something you can't do because it throws you off, and you are no longer ready. You are no longer alert, and so you want to be protected. You want to be safe, and Yahuwah will protect you as long as you are protecting yourself.
And this is where we can summarize the chapter at the end and be like, if there's anything to learn from this chapter, is to stay in the Torah, so you don't end up falling off the path. So you don't end up as an alcoholic, drinking and getting your soul stolen by strange women.
And there might be time to get drunk or something like that. I mean, there might be time for that to happen.
Noah got drunk,
right?
But there was a huge problem with that afterwards. After his son came in and he cursed entire family line, entire generations for the whole incident, but there is times where sips are good. Paul said it to Timothy when Timothy had stomach aches. He's like, take wine for your stomach aches. It will help your stomach aches. We're supposed to drink wine on Passover and things like that. So there are times to drink, but living the life as a drunkard, you're not going to be able to minister to the people that need it, especially if you know the Torah and you are a drunk. It's not going to help you at all when Yahuwah asks you, all right, what kind of work did you do? Did you feed my sheep? You're like, no, I drank my entire life. Sorry about that. What are your answers going to be? So yeah, that is how to summarize it. Stay on the Torah so you do not get caught up in the world of drinking and the world of perversities.
Right, because bad things happen when you get drunk. Many things will happen. You may commit wickedness. You may commit sin. And if you commit these sins, you need to repent. You need to come back to Yahuwah and focus on Yahuwah, because you are not focused on Yahuwah if you are doing this. Alright, that was the end of chapter 23, and that was the end of this week. Tomorrow is a preparation day. And don't forget, we also have the Telegram group. If you guys want to chat with us, we have a little chat room. We talk to people on all different places around the world, different languages. So if you guys want to join us, you guys can talk there. We can all have chat. You have questions or just want to hang out with friends, we are there. And we also have a secondary channel. If you guys like it, please actually subscribe. So if we do lose this channel, we can live stream on that channel. And we also have a BitChute and an Odyssey account, 2 other websites that do video platforms, kind of like YouTube. So we have those as well. Alright, everyone, have a blessed day. And yes, the grants that remain pure, and blessings to everyone in the chat as well. Have a great day.
Shalom. Right, we will see you later. Shalom.